Hi, I'm Abby, and today we're going to focus on helping your students to improve their marks in the AQA GCSE Geography exam when answering 6-mark questions. 6-mark questions appear frequently and require students to demonstrate knowledge, AO1, understanding, AO2, and sometimes evaluation, AO3. 6-mark questions are assessed at 3 levels. So level 1 is 1 to 2 marks, and that will be basic responses with general terms and little detail. Level 2, which is 3 to 4 marks, where there's clear response with some explanation and examples, and Level 3, which is 5 to 6 marks, with detailed responses with explanations, examples, and if necessary, case studies. To reach the top end, students will need to use structured writing and geographical terminology. Not all 6-mark questions are the same. They test different skills depending on the command word. There are 2 main types of 6-mark questions. Explain and outline questions. So these require AO1 knowledge and AO2 understanding. And in these, students need to provide clear factual knowledge and explain how or why something happens. In assess or to what extent questions, these require AO2 understanding and AO3 evaluation. Students must weigh up different perspectives, analyse the impacts, and make a judgment. Encouraging students to identify which type of question they are answering helps them to focus on the correct skills. Before answering, encourage students to use the bug technique. Number 1, box the command word, so identify what the question is asking. Number 2, underline key themes, focus points, required evidence, and the number of examples. And number 3, glance back at the question before submitting their answer to ensure that all parts are covered. This simple method helps students to stay focused and answer all aspects of the question. The best way to structure a 6-mark response is using the PECE method. So that's point, make a clear statement about the topic, evidence, provide an example or data to support the point, connective, link the point to its consequence, so for example, this means that or as a result, and explain or evaluate. If it's an explain or outline question, fully develop the idea considering processes or impacts, and if it's an assess or to what extent question, weigh up different perspectives and make a judgment. Students should aim for at least 2 PECE paragraphs, ideally 3 for extra depth. Let's have a look at a worked example for an AO2 and AO3 assess question. The question here is assess the environmental challenges of urban sprawl, 6 marks. First, let's bug the question. So box the command word, which is assess. Underline the key themes, so environmental challenges and urban sprawl, and glance back at the question to ensure that evaluation is included. Let's have a look at a model answer. So this is the first paragraph. So point 1, urban sprawl causes the loss of greenfield sites, reducing biodiversity. Evidence, as cities expand, farmland and habitats are replaced with housing developments. Connective, this means that species are displaced and ecosystems are disrupted. And evaluate, this has long-term impacts on local wildlife, making conservation harder. Point 2 and paragraph 2. Increased car use leads to high greenhouse gas emissions. Evidence, suburban areas often lack public transport, forcing residents to rely on cars. Connective, this leads to higher CO2 emissions, worsening air quality. And evaluate, poor air quality contributes to respiratory problems and climate change, requiring costly mitigation strategies. And the final point, urban sprawl increases surface runoff, raising flood risks. Evidence, more impermeable surfaces, roads or pavements, prevent water from soaking into the ground. Connective, this means that water flows quickly into drainage systems, overloading them. And evaluate, while solutions like permeable pavements exist, they are expensive to implement, making it difficult to address the issue on a larger scale. 6-mark questions are assessed using different combinations of AO skills. For AO2 and AO3, there are 3 marks for AO2, understanding, and those 3 marks will focus on explaining the impacts of the issue. And then for AO3, evaluation, also 3 marks, that's for weighing up the severity or long-term consequences. So this is a good response as it explains 3 key challenges of urban sprawl whilst balancing explanation with evaluation. Students often lose marks in 6 marks questions because they write vague statements without explanation, they list points without developing them, they misinterpret the command words, so they might use a kind of explain or outline instead of evaluating, and they may not use real-world examples or case studies when they've been asked to. To maximise marks, students must develop each point fully and provide evidence. So, encourage students to explain their points with relevant examples, check for command words and structure so that their answers meet all the criteria, use key geographical terminology to strengthen their responses, and practice answering past exam questions to improve confidence. By following these strategies, students can write clear, structured responses and secure higher marks in 6-mark questions. Thanks for watching. I'm Abby, Content Lead for Geography at Propello. I hope this guide helps you support your students as they prepare for their GCSE exams. Stay tuned for more revision tips.